Hey guys, Mac here. So we are in Death Valley National Park and we are about to do Telescope Peak, which happens to be the highest peak in the entire park and will hopefully give us views for roughly 100 miles in all directions. After we knock out this hike, we're gonna head to camp and review some gear that REI sent to us. So without further ado, we should probably get hiking because we have some serious miles to put in. We have been on trail for about, 4.5 miles and been on trail for 2 hours, but we can see our destination. We're getting super close. We have arrived at our final push to the summit. Let's finish strong. We made it. We made it in 2 hours and 53 minutes. It's 10:30 now. There's a trail log to be opened. Our entry into the trail log. So in addition to the trail log and the summit finder, we have a toy truck, a Jaeger shot glass, terrifying, some electrolyte mix, a couple of extra pens, a lighter. I wonder what that's for. Over to our east, we have Death Valley, and over to our west, we have Panamint Valley. And to your north, you got me. We made it back to the start of the hike. It was a really, really beautiful hike. The views were incredible. It was challenging due to the elevation gain, but I would say it was well worth it.
The final stats for the hike look something like this.
Now that we're done here, let's pack up and head to camp so we can review some gear. Welcome to camp, guys. REI was kind enough to send us some gear to try out, implement into day-to-day life out here on the road, and review. So without further ado, here's what we're going to be looking into today.
The Smartwool Shadow Pine Crew Sweater. The Patagonia Better Sweater Quarter Zip Fleece. The Smartwool PhD Outdoor Light Pattern Crew Socks. The A-Light Monarch Butterfly Chairs. And the Bear Vault BV 500 Food Container.
Ever since hiking the John Muir Trail, I'm a total wool convert. I love wool because it's functional, it's warm, it's comfortable, and it's a renewable fiber. So until this Smartwool Pine Shadow sweater showed up, I didn't have a truly casual sweater to my name. All of my clothes also kind of double as gear, but sometimes it's nice to not look like I'm about to break into a run up a mountain at any second. This sweater is incredibly comfortable, and despite numerous days of continuous wear, I'm not ashamed to say it, it is never bagged or stretched out anywhere, including in the elbows, which in my previous life, I had sweaters that would always bag out in the elbows for some reason. I am always on the lookout for a warm, comfortable, presentable, and sustainably made sweater. That's not too much to ask, right? Every piece of clothing that we carry with us needs to be both functional and somewhat decent looking because I don't always want to look like I live in a car. I personally think that this Patagonia Better sweater happens to check all of those boxes. The day after I got this sweater, I summited a peak in it and then immediately went into town for drinks, and it totally served both purposes. I actually really love to hike in this sweater because it's knit, it is both warm and breathable. I also love that it's a little bit more fitted than anything else that I have, so it always makes it so much easier to snap my pack around my waist without having to worry about a bunch of extra fabric. The Better sweater is made with 100% recycled fibers and is dyed with a low-impact method that reduces the use of dye stuffs, water, and energy compared to conventional dyeing processes. The stand-up collar keeps my neck nice and warm, and I really love this little pocket for carrying chapstick, ID, a couple of dollars, or your favorite dinosaur action figure. I love wearing socks that are shin high or higher when hiking because it's the perfect height to protect you from any low brush or something that you happen to be walking past. I'm also super allergic to poison ivy, and for some reason, that is always the place I get it. Wool socks are great because they're going to keep your feet warm even if they happen to get wet. And these particular socks are great because they're fitted around the toe box. However, I did find around mile 10 that they started to bag out and move around my shoe way more than I would probably prefer. So if I was going to do any long distance hiking, there's definitely socks on the market that I would prefer to wear in those events. However, I do love wearing these socks. Sorry, they're dirty. I did wear them yesterday. I love wearing these socks because they're warm, they're comfortable, and the design on them is really cute. So they're great as a casual sock, and they would look really amazing with a low-cut pair of boots that I don't own, but wish I did. If you're familiar with our channel, then you have probably seen this chair before. This is an A-Light Monarch chair, and we've loved them for a really long time. In fact, we bought our first set of 2 from REI back in 2011 and have been carrying them with us ever since, such as this one, making this guy almost 8 years old. REI was kind enough to send us 2 new chairs because they have actually, since our original purchase, updated the design, making them stronger and more comfortable than ever, no matter the terrain that you're sitting in. And based on Old Faithful over here, I'm pretty sure that they'll be around for a long time to come. Though we haven't had the opportunity to use these bear vaults in a long format hike like the John Muir Trail that we did earlier this year, we could not be more stoked about these bear vaults. Right off the bat, these bear vaults have 11.5 liter capacity, which can hold 7 days worth of food. The previous ones that we've used were smaller and could only hold 5 days worth of food. This little guy weighs 2 pounds, 9 ounces, and the ones that we used on the John Muir Trail weighed 2 pounds, 12 ounces. I know that that is a laughable stat, but every ounce counts when you're carrying it on your back. These ridges and textures were the source of all of our envy every single time we saw somebody using this exact bear can on the trail. And the reason being is this texture allows for it to stay put when it's strapped to the outside of your pack. We didn't have this option and we're continuously dealing with our bear cans slipping off of our packs. In one instance, mine actually went into the creek and filled up with water. Being in the backcountry with a limited supply of food that is now soaking wet is not where you want to be. And last but not least, this little guy also serves as a great seat around camp. Before we go, I want to take a moment to profess our real love for REI. We have been members of REI for as long as I can remember. In fact, back in high school, my dad used to go to REI every Saturday morning while I was at swim practice just to hang out. And then on the ride home, he would tell me all the things that he had learned about new gear he had seen in the store. And more recently, when we were prepping for the John Muir Trail, REI was always there for us those countless times we remembered that we needed something tiny right before we left. We love that at REI you can always feel really confident in your purchases because you're leaving really well educated on what you can do with it. And that every single piece of gear is gonna help you go out into the outdoors and make a new memory. And one last thing, this Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving, REI is urging people to spend time outside. But while you're out there, they're also asking that you take some time to clean up wherever you happen to find yourself. If you see a piece of trash, pick it up. If you find a can, recycle it. Owen and I have no idea where we'll be, but you better believe that we'll be doing our part to leave wherever we are cleaner than we found it. In the description of this video, we're going to be linking all the gear mentioned in this video, as well as REI's Opt Outside and Opt to Act initiative for this Black Friday. As always, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We hope you loved the hike and enjoyed our gear reviews. So until next time, we'll see you down the road.